What's up, everyone? I'm going to help you out get into Spider-Man, and this is the top 10 Spider-Man comics you should read to get into everyone's favorite web swinger, everyone's favorite neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, I would start with The Death of Gwen Stacy. This is a staple of Peter Parker's grief and remorse, and it gives him a new wavelength of compassion, how he goes again into a superhero journey. And much like how Ben, his Uncle Ben, the death of Uncle Ben kind of prompted him into the superhero role, the death of Gwen made him question, and then defeating that questioning of should I or shouldn't I keep doing this, him rising above that made him that much stronger. Alright, next at number 9, Into the Spider-Verse. And now the thing is, Into the Spider-Verse makes the Spider-Man universe more copacetic, but it also makes it a lot more fun because the variants and different iterations of Spider-Man make Spider-Man that much funner. Like the idea of how anyone can be Spider-Man is really fun. Next up, we got Miles Morales Ultimate Spider. Brian Michael Bendis is a great Spider-Man writer. He's a great mind in Spider-Man, and this is, if you're a fan of the animated movie, read the Ultimate run because it's a great journey. And when Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen cross path, and it's a great story that made it onto screen. Number 7, we got Maximum Carnage. Now, Carnage is one of the coolest villains of all time. Now, personally, I like Venom more, but Carnage is pretty darn cool too. So, Cletus Cassidy, the story of a serial killer obtaining the symbiote versus symbiote. It's awesome. Number 6, I would go back to history, and when he started in the 60s, Stan Lee, the first Amazing Fantasy, and then worked your way up, and I would just keep reading because the Stan Lee stuff is great. The Stan Lee, it hasn't aged. Other than the time zone where everyone's dressed like that time zone, but everything the Stan Lee stuff is great. And then number 5, the Birth of Venom. When Todd McFarlane was drawn, that's a great era. When Venom became like, he was talking about eating Spider-Man's brain, and he was chasing around MJ. It was a great time to be a comic Spider-Man fan. Next up, we have Spider-Man Reign. Now, this is a future story where it's kind of, Spider-Man's down on his luck, and everything. Like, he has to find his way again. Old Man Spider-Man. It's the Old Man Spider-Man story. It's really good. Number 3, we have Spider-Man Life Story. This was good. It was sort of like a love letter to Spider-Man. Number 2, we're back with Brian Michael Bendis, Ultimate Spider-Man. And his run is iconic. The Ultimate Spider-Man run. And hold on. Number 2 is Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2, which is the current Ultimate Spider-Man, where it's this universe where Peter Parker didn't become Spider-Man until he was an adult with a family, and Uncle Ben is still alive. But in this universe, Aunt May's dead, and Uncle Ben and Jonah Jameson won the paper together. And I'm really liking the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Rue run, and the number 1 is Brian Michael Bendis. Read this whole thing, start to finish. It's the easiest entry point into Spider-Man. It takes all the generations of Spider-Man and reboots it. It's just as good. It's just as iconic as Stan Lee's run. So these are the 10 graphic novels to use it. If I left anything out, honorable mentions, Hobgoblin era, and anything with with the Green Goblin is great. So if I left anything out, let me know down below. Like and subscribe. Take care, everyone. It's time for the X-Men. Hey, everyone. We're going to be talking about the best X-Men comics that you should read to become an X-Men yourself. Now, personally, some of my favorite X-Men's are obvious choices. Wolverine is my favorite, and Nightcrawler, Colossus, Phoenix, Psylocke, Domino. Okay, let's get into my top 10. Alright, the easiest place to start is Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men. Say what you will about his Buffy stuff, and he actually did a really good Astonishing X-Men. He borrows from a lot of the early stuff, and he kind of creates like a good starting point. It's not like the most original run, but it's like the most copacetic and easy to read to new X-Men reader. And then keeping it in that vein, Ultimate X-Men, another universe, but you still get the X-Men experience. It is a good run, and it's another reboot type of situation. So let's get into the canon stuff at number 8, Age of Apocalypse. Now this was a very cool era of where we get this alternative era where everything goes wrong and Apocalypse is running amok in the timelines. It's a great place to be. It was like, when you think 90s comics, this was the big event. Next up, we have the best current run that, in my personal, the best modern take on the X-Men was Hickman's House and Powers of X-Men and the entire Krakoan era. This was a great time. I read the entire thing. It's just like, it brings Claremont stuff in there with Inferno, and it was awesome. The Krakoan era is great place to dive in and get back into X-Men. Then go back to the original Stan Lee stuff when X-Men started in the 60s. Now, the Magneto stuff isn't as deep back then, and it's everything was sort of monster of the week, and they were kind of like a college football team. And then it would definitely evolve from that. Number 5, we got Extinction Agenda. This was a really cool X-Factor, X-Force crossover where they're on an island and the Cyclops has to break them out, and Cable's there. It was awesome. Number 4, we got Grant Morrison's New X-Men. The art's awesome. Cassandra Nova and the Helens. This was a breath of fresh air for the X-Men, and it's a really good place to, if you want like a new starting point without going back too far. It was a good run for X-Men. Number 3, we're gonna get into the Claremont stuff. Inferno, with Jean Grey and her clone Madame Pryor. It's stuff of legend, but let's get into the legendary stuff. All right, number 2, we have all new X-Men with the Len Wein reboot with the new lineup: Wolverine, Colossus, Storm, and Nightcrawler and Sunspot. Not Sunspot, Sunfire, and he didn't last on the team that long. Oh, and Warpath. So this was a good. People say, well, I want the X-Men experience. I don't want to just read that one graphic novel of the Phoenix Saga. All right, the Phoenix Saga is about 10 issues, 12 issues. And if that's not enough, just start at All New X-Men and read all the way to the Phoenix Saga. And you're going to be like, I'm a professor in X-Men. Because the Phoenix Saga, it is the best story. It is the best. It's the quintessential moment in X-Men history where everything came aligned. You think of like soap operas and women who watch soap operas religiously. Everyone was reading the X-Men. And then that went on into, it eventually ended and got rebooted with Jim Lee in the 90s. So if you're skipping over the Phoenix Saga because you just feel like it's old hat, you're missing out big time. All right, everybody, what's your favorite X-Men story? Let me know.